What is a spirit baby? A spirit baby is an interdimensional traveler who desires to incarnate on earth through the vessel of the mother, the father that it follows and has been with, most likely throughout incarnations. Can be a part of the soul tribe. It can be a soul agreement that was made before this lifetime, where the spirit baby would come in and help clear karma for the mother, the father, and the relationship between the two, as well as an agreement the father or the mother makes to help clear karma for the spirit baby. The spirit baby stays with the mother or the father, but the Ma frequency lingers around the birth mother, because the birth mother is the vessel that can hold the higher frequency for the child. So a lot of spirit babies are connected to the mother, and you'll hear a lot more women talking about spirit babies than men. There are soul agreements men make with spirit babies, but the spirit baby stays in the birth canal of the woman even before the child is conceived. So our birth canal runs through our entire chakra system, and we are seeding our consciousness constantly. Just like when we conceive a child in our womb, we are seeding our consciousness throughout chronology, even after menopause. The seeding of our consciousness is activation, inspiration. It is when we get an upgrade, when we get a revelation, when we get a download, when we get a channeled message, when we develop our talents and gifts, when we have breakthroughs, when we emotionally, spiritually heal and mature. That is seeding our consciousness throughout the entire birth canal. So the spirit baby will hang around the birth canal and will receive the nutrients of the mother, the Ma frequency, the woman. Even when the woman is a girl, maybe 13, 14 years old, there could be a spirit baby who is benefiting from the experiences of the girl, right? The spirit baby, many times in a higher dimensional view, is going through the karmic lessons, the breakthroughs, the challenges, and the victories that the mother, the woman, experiences. So the spirit baby becomes more prevalent. It becomes a stronger vibration that can even be sensed by the mother, the woman, right? When when we're a girl, it becomes like a spirit guide, right? And a spirit baby comes to us in their authentic embodiment, and that authentic embodiment can be different throughout our experience of that spirit baby. So when we're a little girl, maybe the spirit baby comes to us as a grown man, as a spirit guide, as an angel, right? Even as an ancestor. Because spirit babies can also be ancestors, can be deceased loved ones, like grandfathers, grandmothers, can even be our own mother or our own father. Because souls tend to go in groups, and we can incarnate with the same group in many different incarnations to help each other grow and evolve spiritually and emotionally. So the spirit baby takes many shapes, and it can even come to us as animal spirits, right? Because the spirit baby represents the vastness of creation, And that spirit baby can even present itself as a girl, a female, as a boy, a male, right? But as, we begin to get into, let's say, intimate relationship, and we are, sexually active, or we are getting to that time again. A lot of times it's in a soul agreement. It's we decide, right, where we use our free will, right, either consciously, right, or unconsciously, we're gonna conceive this child, this spirit baby. So how we can enhance the connection to the spirit baby, because we need to realize there are so many spirits in this that are hanging around that want to be born, right? And if you're listening to this, most likely you are a man or a woman who has a particular incarnational mastery where you can connect to the other realm, and that takes skill, that takes a psychic development to be able to connect to the other, we'll say the other side, where you can see through the veil, right? Like shamans or psychics or sages or oracles. So the spirit baby interacts with the mother, kind of hangs in the mother's birth canal, usually in the heart center frequency, right? Usually it's in the heart realm. So it presents itself as a friend, as a companion. Even when we're a child, the spirit baby can be like an invisible friend we have when, let's say, we're, all alone, and, we spend a lot of time by ourselves, and that spirit baby becomes like an invisible friend to us, right? And as we get older and we start to develop our creativity, especially when we start to awaken the solar plexus, we start to awaken the birthing hips as a woman, and we really start to connect with our sensual and sexual energy through dance, through poetry, through music, through pottery, painting, jewelry, whatever it is that's considered our sort of our sensual delight, or the pleasure, right, that brings us joy. When we step into that sort of simple and subtle joy of our lives as a woman and really get into that femme embodiment, we're going to start to connect with these spirit babies. And there can be multiple. Actually, there can be many that desire to come through, but a lot of times we make agreements, and it's based off of our free will choices that these spirit babies start to line with being born, right? Because spirit babies, they can hang around in the birth canal this whole life and never be conceived, never be born, right? They can just remain as a spirit guide and kind of be with us as a sort of holding space for us in this lifetime, right? Very much like an ancestor, like our soul tribe, for a next incarnation. So when spirit babies have a strong vibration, the spirit baby can desire particular mothers, and mother-father relationships, not just mother, but it does hang around. Definitely either it could be the ancestral line of the father, ancestral line of the mother, right? But it can sort of hang around the ma frequency. Can even be the mother of the father, right? But it needs that ma frequency to connect to creation, the earth experience. Because women, we hold the space, like the womb, we hold the space for these celestial energies to download and to integrate into the physical realm. So the spirit babies use women, either it's the mother, the grandmother, again, just woman in general, to kind of hold, to kind of come into this space on earth and begin to download its oversoul into an incarnation. A lot of times it will integrate information into the nervous system and the arc line of the woman, the mother, right? Even before she's even sexually active, when she's a little girl, right? A lot of times the arc line, which is the wisdom of the mother, can be information that's being downloaded from the spirit baby. As a spirit baby, again, it may have a very strong vibration. It comes in and it has a lot of talent. It has a lot of things it wants to do in this life, right? And again, there's different types of spirit babies. There are spirit babies who, let's say their vibration is not very strong, right, due to past lives. I mean, spirit babies can come in with a lot of trauma of a recent past life, a lot of fear, a lot of wounds. So they come in very hesitant, they come in very shaky, they come in very nervous, where they're kind of in and out of this earth, not really. Even some spirit babies, they don't really want to be here, but they're brought here because they have to break through these blocks, or to break through these limitations that they've had from past lives. So it's really us as women, and men can sense into this, but it's the femme consciousness that can really drop into that spirit baby. And we can also make agreements with our angelic team, right, our higher dimensional team, what spirit baby we're going to allow to come in, right? Again, there's so many spirits that want to be born. There's like earthbound spirits, there's kind of ghost spirits, there's these sort of spirits who are attached to the lineage or the bloodline, or there's ancestral spirits. Then we're getting to spirits who are more service based, who maybe come from like other planets like Pleiades, or come from the Lyran system, and they're coming here purely to share knowledge. So there's all kinds of different spirit babies, but when we start to raise our own vibration, we start to align with spirit babies who can take the activations that we've already kind of been working with in our life, and actually can come to this earth and make it happen for themselves, right, with our assistance. So again, we can agree to have spirit babies who've already cleared their karma in past lives, right, who've already worked on their wounds, and they're worked on balancing their energies in past lives, so that in this lifetime they're coming purely to get things done, right, when it comes to their functioning for a more dharma pathway, right? But we can make agreements to help spirit babies who are having trouble with being on earth, and have in past lives, and a lot of times these newer souls, or these souls that are not from planet Earth, we'll say, that haven't had many incarnations, a lot of times they will be given to more advanced souls, because advanced souls can help them kind of fast track their growth. Because let's say if you're from the Zeta system, right, and you're a Zeta being, and you've never really had maybe a couple dozen incarnations on Earth, in order to really embody the fullness of your Zeta wisdom, right, is you have to incarnate to a more advanced soul who already holds the arc line, or already holds the nervous system of a higher dimensional being, right? And because the great, I'm sure we all agree, the great kind of difficulty is the childhood. That's the one thing that we all struggle with in adulthood is the childhood. And let's say not having the space we needed to really integrate and download our authentic self, because the parents had all kinds of belief systems and unresolved issues, and a lot of their own inner childhood anger, and their own sort of relationship problems, and it is very hard to integrate and download these advanced teachings from celestial origins when we have all of that kind of interfering. And that's why as adult we reparent ourselves a lot so that we can sort of begin integrating and downloading this advanced teachings from our oversoul. Now that we're working on clearing this disruption and the interference and the kind of distractions and the sort of belief systems and limitations that kind of disrupted the coming into our own and embracing our authentic self, right? So the spirit baby is an opportunity to connect with what kind of wisdom do we want to give birth to, because spirit baby is a lot of times for we think of more advanced souls, right? Older souls, because the spirit baby has a lot to do with the lineage, right? It's about the lineage. It's about you're creating a lineage of wisdom. So again, it can be of a clearing of karma within the already existing lineage, right? So you have an agreement with this particular soul of past lives. It can also be a soul tribe member. A lot of times it can be a soul tribe member where you've had many lifetimes, harmonious lifetimes, where you've done a lot of things with, a lot of clearing of karma with this person. You've done a lot of sort of wisdom holding and wisdom keeping with this person. You've been to battle with this person, right? And they're like your kin, so they come in so you can mutually benefit, right? So in this incarnation, your life, right, as the parent, can feed the life of this soul that can really boost up this soul, because really it's about our connection with our spirit baby is to boost them up. It isn't for us to get, we're supposed to get something from our child, like we're supposed to take from our child. No, it's actually to boost up the wisdom in this soul. It's to really, really help them kind of clear the karma and to really rise into their authentic self, so that they can come to this earth and so that they can get things done. So the spirit baby, in connecting with them, we're connecting with our own soul, right? We're connecting with our own soul, and we're desiring, even the two, desire to connect with your spirit baby is you have something that you really want to give, or you have an experience of lineage or kinship that you've agreed that you would like to have in this lifetime. So for me particularly, having this spirit baby energy around me since I was a little girl, I've never felt ready. Even now that I'm getting older, I've never felt ready to actually make an agreement to, like, I'm gonna kinship, the lineage and the continuation of wisdom, because for myself, having a child is very, very, I take it very seriously. So it's not something unconscious. It's something very conscious. It's something where I can give the best opportunity to the child, right? And when we're even talking about the spirit baby, a lot of times we're desiring to give not just this person, but the future of this planet and future generations a better life experience. So when we start to channel the spirit baby, we're also channeling our own soul, and we're asking our soul, what do we need to heal, and how can we love ourselves, and what is the best partner for ourselves? Because again, spirit baby is number one, your spirit guide before it's incarnated, because your spirit baby wants to make sure that you're good, right? Because ideally, your spirit baby wants you to be in a frequency of joy and fulfillment when they're conceived. So, before there's even an agreement, right, that's really kind of you're using your free will to decide, and it's becoming more of a kind of, serious decision. Because again, spirit babies, they're not just going to come in if they're not received, right? They're not going to come in. There'll be a different spirit baby that will come in, right? But there are, particular spirit babies that are like spirit guides, that even like angels, that are higher vibrational beings, that desire to really experience a path of dharma with us, which is, clearing the karma and upgrading and, holding a space of wisdom on this planet, upgrading the human species through our own inspiration, our creativity, our willpower, our intuition, really the lineage of the psychic, the psychic enhancement. But before we even get into the spirit baby really kind of latching on to us, is when we start to feel good, right? When we're starting to manifest our own authentic life in this earth. Because ideally the spirit baby wants to be born when we're in our authentic life embodiment. And that doesn't mean our life is perfect. That doesn't mean our life is in this, whatever we think is perfect, either in our financial or relationship, and just in a place where we are awakening spiritually, and we're starting to trust our spirituality. We're starting to really find fulfillment in the comforts of our own soul, right? And we're really starting to follow our heart, follow our evolution. Right? Just having the spiritual and emotional evolution definitely calls in a higher, interdimensional being. So a lot of people connected to this spirit baby, they are calling in star seeds. Again, star seeds are going to latch on to particularly the Ma frequency. Women who again are vibrating into higher dimensions of themselves, like Pleiades and Sirius and Orion and the Zeta and all these kinds of higher dimensional, higher vibrational energies. These star seeds are going to be drawn to those type of women, right? The goddess frequency. So we can even receive visions. We can even receive messages on what these beings want to do in this life. And as we move further into our future in planet Earth, a lot of women, who are really coming into the fullness of their goddess, are going to start to receive a lot of messages about what their spirit babies want to do and how they can prepare for them. Like some spirit babies, they, want to be scientists, and they want you to listen to podcasts of a particular scientist that you might not even be into science whatsoever. You might not even know what this person is talking about. But because you have a connection to the spirit baby and you listen to your intuition, you have a sort of developed psychic ability. You do, because you understand. You may not get it, but it's sort of downloading and imprinting into your arc line, right? It's your nervous system is taking in that information. It's storing it in you. So even now, when you're, let's say, 25, you have no idea what you've heard, but when you're 45, and let's say you have a kid that's, 5 or 6, all of a sudden you're going to understand, wait a minute, this child is really, really advanced in this particular science that's very much related to this scientist that I was guided to listen to podcasts, and I had no idea what I was listening to, right? So those little things, these star beings, again, these when I say star seeds, these are spirit babies who are very much a part of the Aquarian age, which is a lot that are wanting to come. But they're going to need a space, and they're going to need help. Because again, the number one thing that a lot of us are working on as adults is healing the childhood. right? And reparenting our lives and making healthier choices when it comes to relationship, and uncovering, you know, all kinds of discussions on toxic relationships, narcissistic people, selfish people, unavailable. There's all kinds of people in these type of relationships, and it has a lot to do with the clearing of the karma of the parents and the kind of ancestral line, and really sort of upgrading or creating a reconciliation between man and woman through our own kind of knowledge that a lot of times is not even from this earth. It's either from ancient earth, right, and the sort of higher vibrational fifth dimensional earth, or comes even from other planetary systems. And we're taking information from these higher fifth dimensional energies where we've had incarnations, and we're kind of using it to create harmony or clearing, or create sort of justice, or create deep healing in this life, so that we can begin to step more into a healthier relationship experience, one that's aligned with our authentic sort of service path in this life. And the spirit babies, when they're star seeds, which you'll know if they're star seeds because there's going to be a lot of downloads, like celestial communication happening, a lot of there's just going to be a lot of visions about other planetary systems. You'll get a lot of psychic downloads about all kinds of just amazing creativity, right? Because you're dealing with celestial origins that are probably have evolved beyond the third dimensions we know. So these beings are probably very vast and very expansive. So you would start to have your intellect and your creativity would probably get even heightened more. You would have a lot more of a vastness in the way that you feel, think, and process because of that spirit baby, right? Ancestral spirit babies are going to be more earthbound. Sort of spirit babies that are kind of recycled souls, like who've just reincarnating again and again. They haven't left this planet probably for a long time because they haven't learned their lessons, right? They're going to be more earthbound. They're going to be a slower, denser spirit baby. They're going to feel denser energetically and vibrational wise. It's going to feel an earthbound, where it's going to give you a kind of a sort of memory of past lives on Earth, right? While these starseed beings, it's going to be like memories of like past lives in Egypt, and like matriarchal Egypt, and like Sirius and Pleiades, and like some interesting light language that you will get. And these are, these star beings, or I like to say starseed children, which are definitely coming in more and more because, planet Earth is reaching an intergalactic phase of initiation. They're coming in to women who, to not only upgrade the woman and the kind of the space of the woman, and the kind of upgrade the fertility, and to help women evolve and the whole femme consciousness on this planet, but they're also here to really jumpstart the interstellar consciousness, because these starseed children are interstellar, right? So when you're connecting with them, you'll have a speed in what you're thinking. Your psychic abilities will enhance. You'll have Kundalini awakening. All these kinds of gifts and talents of your interdimensional self is going to just download, because these starseed beings, these children, they're here to help the future generations of planet Earth become more interstellar consciousness. So it's not about going to space and leaving Earth. It's about more tapping into the shamanistic mind, where the people on Earth now can have a sort of alchemical force. They can get out of the dark age of their self in their incarnations And they can start to get into the age of light, which is about manifesting through your will, your creativity. It's about a higher sense of creativity. It's deep healing, about uncovering the psyche, clearing the subconscious, and really repatterning the physiology, the psychology, so that human beings have the essence and the nature, the natural rhythm of a human being can really sort of return and to stabilize. Because as we move more into the technology age, people are going to get more nervous. People are going to feel a lot more disconnected and a lot more sort of computerized rather than interstellar consciousness. Artificial intelligence is very different from interstellar consciousness. It's very, very different. Interstellar consciousness is about higher imagination, higher creativity. It's about expansion. It's about spiritual, emotional maturity, right? That liberates you and liberates your experience. It gives you a radiance and a psychic development. AI is not necessarily about a psychic development. It's very much just kind of information overload that we as human beings, we don't really need. We're not really ready for that. It's not, we just don't need it, because we already have the interstellar consciousness within us. It's just a matter of fact of just plugging in, right? Plugging in and using it, right? Because that kind of information isn't just jargon. It isn't just like mindless information that's just kind of put out randomly and just excessive information that we don't really need. It's actually more of based on creativity, based off of the human fulfilling the natural way of life. So again, discuss about the different spirit babies, the starseed, right, which is definitely orbs. Again, spirit babies can be seen like orbs. Even they can be seen in your aura, right? You can take like aura photos, and sometimes you can see these orbs or these sort of colors. Starseed beings can have like an indigo, like a darker blue, indigo purple. More earthbound spirits will have like a green. I mean, not earthbound, but ancestral, like, soul family, tribe, you've spent many lives, even you've maybe been dolphins together, maybe you've been elephants together, right? And you help each other, right? It's a mutual thing. But you've come to be the parent to give them, be of service to them and service to their infinity, because they're a part of your soul, right? We're all a part of each other's soul. So when our child is, ascending to higher levels of victory, that we're also liberated by that. So a single child can actually liberate the entire lineage. Depends on that child's will and how much energy they cultivate and how much development and psychic enhancement they have in this life. A single child, a single generation can really shift and change it all for 14 to 7 generations. But that child most likely will be starseed child. It will not be earthbound. It will be a child who has celestial energy, who has higher energy, cosmic energy, fifth dimensional energy. And that's why they're able to break through 7 to 14 generations of karma, or patterns or habits, behaviors, sort of destructive ways, subconscious patterning, deep patterning in the DNA and the cellular makeup and the epigenetic codes and the mental codes, the physiological codes, where, past generations, they just couldn't figure it out. They're like, how do I crack the code of my own mind and create a clearing? That one child that comes in that changes it all is most likely the starseed child, one who's been to Pleiades, who's got study in Arcturus, got study Sirius, Lyra with the Vega star, and all kinds of different planetary systems, right? Who's been on Earth in the ancient fifth dimensional times, working with Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene, working with Black Madonna, Jesus Christ, in that kind of incarnational resume. And that's a starseed. Anybody who's working incarnations with Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, Black Madonna, Jesus Christ, this is starseed advanced teachings, right? That do not originate from Earth. They, originate from the stars, but are brought to Earth to help facilitate the ascension of planet Earth, to bring order and to bring balance. And to start bringing, human beings into its dignity, right? Dignity requires advanced teachings, spiritual teachings, right? And those who have dignity in many ways have some kind of backbone. They have some kind of vertical connection, right, to God or to their spirit guides or angels or ancestors, right, that they pray to, that they seek for wisdom, right? And they receive wisdom through their experiences, through their will, through their choice to make a constructive, rehabilitating choice rather than a destructive, chaotic choice. So the connecting with the spirit baby is all in our sort of femme consciousness. Even if we're a man, it's in the femme consciousness that the baby is stored, in the remembrance of that baby. Because again, to them, life is quite, our life seems slow. Like 80 years is like, when we're in it seems like, 80 years, it's kind of slow, right? But in the bigger picture of time, it's actually very fast to a spirit baby. So a spirit baby, time is simultaneous. Past, present, future is very much like a door that they can open and close. Something that they can, like a window that they can walk in and look through. They can even climb into, right? Where even if we pray for, like, let's say a career pathway or a relationship, they will help us, because if it's going to raise our vibration and bring joy into our life, that is going to help them. That's going to help them come into this incarnation with the most authentic sort of integration that they can have. Because ideally, we would all love to come to Earth as our authentic self. Right, because, we came into an environment, to a space that was ready for that, right? And a lot of, especially in older generations, we're not ready for the authentic self of a lot of these beings, these souls, these children that came to Earth. So a lot of these children, of past generations, they had to be revolutionary. They had to break through. They had to be rebellious, right? To kind of break through these limitations of the parents, right? So children can be rebellious, teenagers especially, because they want to be their authentic self. They want to be liberated. They want to feel absolutely alive. And sometimes in an environment where parents lie to themselves, they lie to their spouse, and that kind of lack of dignity, and that kind of low authenticity, the only way to kind of bring in the celestial light language in these higher dimensional gifts and talents is we have to be rebellious, and we have to be revolutionary, right? So naturally we carry habits, behaviors, and patterns of our parents and so on, parents, right? But when we connect to our spirit baby, we're saying to the cosmos, to creation, that, I would like to create lineage. I would like to bring about an ascension to humanity. And I would like to bring the authenticity of this child here on Earth. I would like to speak to the child's soul. I would like to speak to my own soul. Right? And in speaking to your soul, you're also speaking to your creative destiny. And not everybody is speaking to their creative destiny. Because again, there's a lot of mediocrity on this planet. A lot of low self-worth, low self-esteem, sabotage. But when we say, when we speak to our soul and the soul of the child, we're saying, I would like to work on my creative destiny in this life, right? Creative destiny is about, your craftsmanship, your gifts, your talents, being profitable for them, right? Clearing out the chaos, the drama, right? It's about the healing. It's about seeing yourself as sacred, becoming a goddess, becoming the fullness of love, right? And clearing out the resentment and working on those triggers and reparenting yourself so that you can really channel through your birth canal, your chakra system, just wonderful creative energy, celestial energy. That's what happens when we clean out the bloodline of this earth and of ourselves. What happens? The whole arc line opens up, the whole celestial realms open up, the whole creation opens up. When we start to clear out the way that we hate and the discrimination and the kind of poverty and that can be vigorous. It requires a lot of resilience. But when we do that, the whole arc line, the whole aura opens up, right? And the spirit babies, they want to seed their consciousness into us. Even ancestors, let's say your child is going to be an ancestor, great-grandmother. Maybe you never even met this great-grandmother, but the essence of the spirit baby is giving you visions or dreams or downloads of this lifetime where, let's say your great-grandmother was a Native American and you had no idea, but all of a sudden you're getting all these Native American downloads, and you're getting all of this Native American study, right? Or your spirit baby could have been, connected to a past life where you were both pianists in Germany together. Were you both male? Let's say you're the mother and this is, now it's a little girl. And you're getting all these visions of piano and you just want to play piano all the time and you want to get your daughter into piano lessons. Having a child is about giving to them the talents, the gifts that they're telling you, right? That they're communicating to you through your own intuition. That's something that they need. They may not use it in a full-time job when they get older, but it's something that they want to continue to develop in this life because it's a part, these little things we do actually help balance us out. So even if it doesn't become our full-time job, if it brings you joy, it's going to bring you balance. It's going to help you to really enhance this incarnation. So that's why, agreements we make with these spirit babies is important, because we're saying that I'm going to help you become your authentic self. Try my best, right? And again, the human condition, we all have our limitations, social, economically, right? But when we are connecting to that spirit baby from a place of dignity or from a place of soulfulness, from a place of creative destiny, where, we're bit by bit, day by day, working on our own creative destiny, we're going to call in major breakthrough within our generations, major breakthrough within our lineage through the child that comes in. So me connecting with my spirit babies and my story, right? This came to me very young, I would say, right? I was right out of teens, so I think I was still in my late teens, but they just would come to me, and I had no idea about spirit babies, but I would have these strong vibrations around me, right? And they've been with me since I was a little girl, but I didn't really become aware of them because they've been with me, so I thought they, were me, right? Because I didn't really, they've been with me probably since I was born. And one of the spirit baby was a Zeta being, a tall gray, very tall gray, who was very much, I would say more, I won't say scientific, I would say mathematical, right? And everything, like during that time I was like in like deep metaphysics, like geometry, and like deep like the theory of everything, and like Steve Hawkins, and I was deep into Alan Watts, deep at that time, right? It was into Carl Sagan, and I was listening to repetitively like Neil deGrasse Tyson, inspirational videos on kind of all different subjects of life when it involves the stars and our, type of experience with the stars. So I realized that this being, this tall gray Zeta being, was actually wanting to be born through my birth canal. And the reason that this being wanted to be born through my birth canal is because I have ancestral line connected to Cherokee Indians, connected to even further back, like ancient, like Middle East roots in me that have a sort of profound sensational power gained through interactions with star beings, right? And that's the download that was given to me, that I have ancestors way back ancient that have a strong connection to star beings, and we're star beings themselves, right? We're all very much star beings, but there are lineages on this planet, ancestral movement on this planet that actually is we call it sort of advanced souls, where, and it's sometimes advanced souls is it doesn't have to be some kind of glamour. It can be very simple life, right? It doesn't have to be glamorous, but it's just, there's a sort of teaching of earth, right? Sort of shamanistic connection to earth, the way we breathe, the way we think, the way we touch. And ideally all of humanity has this. It's just in some of the ancestral lines, the bloodlines, there has been an immense downgrade of these natural ways, right, due to the dark age and a lot of the trauma and the karma that has been created. But all real ancestral lines, lineages have an ancient past of wisdom and failure and what you call a fall. We all have the rise and fall in us, right? Every lineage has the rise and fall. Nothing is just rise. It's rise, fall, like a wave. So there's that Zeta being, and then I remember there was this other being, this mysterious being that was an earth angel being. It was like a female being. The Zeta was like more male, felt more male dominant, or wanted to present itself as a male. Could be female in this life, I don't know. But there was another one that came in as a real femme consciousness, and this being was like Egyptian incarnation, right? When I was connecting to this other spirit baby, it was like Egypt, like everywhere. And in this vision and this memory and in this download of this child, I had the recollection of being in Egypt with this girl, this child, and I was her mother. And she learned from me the ways of business. In this lifetime, I understood about business. And I taught her a lot about this. And she became a very young female business woman who brought about a great sort of prosperity to the community or to the tribe. So there was that kind of, and then this spirit, this female energy had multiple lives in like Persia and like Middle East and like going all the way to like Europe and Spain and incarnations in like South America, right, and more tribal sort of ancient incarnations, and coming forth now in this incarnation because we're entering to the Aquarian age. And this particular spirit baby wants to offer an ancient knowledge, or wants to kind of continue to enhance, maybe it's already out now, an ancient knowledge belonging possibly to like South America, Mesoamerica, that has to do with interdimensional, like time and space. So your spirit baby is going to kind of, in many ways, it's going to be along the lines of what you're already doing. They're just going to want to help the momentum. They want to continue. They're like, hey, I like what you're doing. Can I help continue the momentum of what you're doing? Especially if, if you're working on your creative destiny. Like for me, very metaphysical. So it makes sense that I'm drawing in spirit babies, a tall gray alien, a Zeta being, who's very, mathematical, geometry, that kind of thing, with, definitely somebody who'd be like in Neil deGrasse Tyson, or, even Alan Watts with the mind wave. And then sort of an earth angel who has a strong interdimensional presence when it comes to ancient Egypt and interstellar consciousness, and a sort of regal human experience, right? So it's very much, it's gonna kind of be an extension of your soul. Like we're all extensions of our soul. We're all extensions of each other's souls, right? And the spirit baby in many ways will help to enhance your natural talents and gifts, will help even when they're not even born. They will bring remembrance and awakening, a spiritual awakening to things you've done in past lives. You've done with them, you've done with your soul tribe, right? And even to help you awaken to the knowledge that wants to come through from your oversoul, right? So to help you liberate yourself and really create something original to this earth, something, like following the Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, Black Madonna, that creating something original, something natural, bringing the essence to earth, right? And these spirit babies they're gonna enhance that. They're gonna want to help that, right? And again, it's what you feel, right? Sometimes it's a soul that past life where there was trauma. Let's say we lost our baby. Let's say, we were in the French Revolution and we were a prostitute and we had a baby, and our baby died due to starvation. You know what I'm saying? There can be all kinds of interactions with our spirit baby. And that's why it's absolutely important for you to honor and develop your own connection to the spiritual realms. So that is basically just working on your imagination, your visualization, because it's very much follows the imagination of you, right? That's kind of the step one to the being able to connect to these spirits. And then you can also decide in this lifetime, based on what you're doing and based off of your free will and what's most important to you in this life, right? What's your sort of projection for intention in this life? You can call in particular spirits. Like for me, I'm calling spirit babies who are star seeds, because I have a particular projection for intention with the Aquarian age, right? And helping to develop that. And the sort of the mind wave of that, and what that frequency is in the human body and the human physiology. And so for me, I don't desire to call in, let's say, ancestors of like my great grandmother or something like that, right? Who may not have the resume that maybe I would like in this life. Even going back to you with your mother, right? And the agreement you made with your mother, even if it wasn't you feel like you didn't get anything from your mother. Sometimes we make agreements that we don't abide by. That's just how it is, the human condition. People get fear, people clamp up, and people drop the ball, right? So, forgiveness, even for agreements that maybe we've had with our mother, when we were born in our childhood, can also help to free the path, to clear the path, so that, we're not tied to anything, even our mother, right? Due to a resentment or a sort of negativity or distortion that happened due to fear and due to giving into it and dropping the ball, because you allowed fear to kind of override your natural system, which is manifestation. And, having compassion for especially older generations who, in the dark age with wars and, all kinds of traditions, limiting beliefs when it comes to being a woman, when it comes to being a man, racism, all these that were very, very heavy for our grandparents. Especially having compassion for that can also help to heal our own relationship with our child, if we choose to have a child, right? Or even if we're not having a child, to heal our relationship with this planet. And sometimes that's all that people want. The spirit baby is just a spirit guide that is going to help them to complete what they want in this life, which could be just healing the earth through their creativity alone. Not having a child, having the child in many ways is about clearing of the bloodline. A lot of times having a child is clearing of the bloodline, like in deep clearing of the bloodline. And some, bloodlines, they, in many ways you will be encouraged to have children by the divine, because you may have a particular knowledge and wisdom that you may not be aware of, that's stored in your arc line or stored in your cellular DNA, that is actually could be very beneficial to the future generations of planet Earth, right? So there's that as well. All kinds of mysteries, all kinds of just magic to the spirit baby realm. Could spend hours and hours discussing about it, but I just wanted to dive deep into it, right? And to give an explanation to the spirit baby. And as we spiritually evolve, and as we I like to say remedy our astrological destiny and our astrological movement of time and space, when we start to really move into our north node and really start to embody our 10th house, and really start to express our sun sign, and really start to experience the healing of our moon, right? And really start to bring these triangles or these sort of sacred geometry to our astrological progression, right? We're gonna start to become more tapped into choices, timelines. You can always make a choice. You can always, that's the thing. There's all timelines, there's all kinds of possibilities, but it's on you and your free will and your accountability. And what is it, that you, on a soul level, in your astrological dignity, that you really want to kind of, there's always something we want to liberate on this earth. Again, that could be, karma, trauma with a loved one, with your parents. Always something we want to liberate. Could be something in our own mind, something of a pattern, a habit of something that we've done in many, many lifetimes that didn't work out, that we want to clear up. There's always something we want to liberate. There's always something we want to create. There's something we want to liberate, there's something we want to create. And there's always an embodiment we want to have. Either I want to embody courage, I want to embody compassion, I really want to embody poetry. I really want to embody being multidimensional. I want to embody my interstellar consciousness, right? There's always something we want to embody. I want to embody peace, or I want to embody my youth or inner child, or I want to embody surfing, right? That's my life. That's my life study. Right? There's always something we want to. Liberation is about learning through discovery. Right? Creation is all about participation and practice. It's always something we want to participate in, like horseback riding or something, right? and practice. We're going to practice, geometry or painting, right? And then there's always embody. Embody is about growth, right? It's about integration. It's about processing, healing. So there's always something we want to liberate, create, and embody. And when we start to really go through that, that's when we start to get a clear energy. When we get a clear energy, that's when the spirit babies, they also just magnetically are drawn to us, and we get to choose. We always get to choose the spirit baby, right? And as we get a clearer energies, we get to more dignified and defined and more reinvented and more natural to our inner child, and less fearful and less wrapped up in the artificial intelligence of like just kind of miscellaneous information that's kind of spreading in our brain that doesn't really do anything for psychic awareness, right? The spirit babies just, they become an extension of our liberation. We need to see our child as, this is an extension of my liberation, or this is an extension of my creativity, my creation. This is an extension of my embodiment, right? And this is an act of clearing karma. When a woman has that perspective, this is an act of clearing karma. Me conceiving this child is an act of clearing karma. That's when, the frequency of the child automatically, just through the thought of this as an act of clearing karma on behalf of my whole bloodline and the future of this planet, that automatically you upgrade that's the child. You're going to bring in the creative, mother can bring in the creative destiny of a child. And we're not forcing them to do anything. We're not forcing them to go to soccer. We're not imprinting them with our belief systems and saying this is how it will be. You bring them a creative destiny when you are on your own sort of path of liberation, of creation, whatever you want to create, and creativity. It could be learning something as well, right? Study, right? Practice, participation. That's something of, study. It could be just astrology. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a business, right? And then your embodiment, right? When you're just in your liberation, your creation, your embodiment, automatically that spirit baby is going to not only be nourished by that, like, whoo, that's the perfect nourishment for a child's creative destiny, whatever it is, their own liberation, creation, embodiment of their authentic soul. But it's also going to bring the higher vibration of that child. Even if that child is ancestor and has traumas and samskaras, they were in World War One, they were, past life, they were in a fire, or, they died, some kind of way that makes them nervous, or they're somewhat triggered, or, they're kind of they have a weak vibration because they're not very confident about Earth. They're kind of like, right? There are spirit babies that are like, no, right? I don't really want to come here. No, right? And there's some that are like, yeah, like there's some like rock and roll spirit babies, and there's some little shy little like deer, right? There's some deer little, not so much, right? And when when you as a woman, as the mother in the birth canal, you can actually, if you have a spirit baby who's very shy, very faint vibration, you can't really sense it, you can actually, through your own, activation in the physical that you are, you can actually bring confidence to that child. And you can actually instill in them, in utero, a vibration of confidence that you can embed into their nervous system at age 0. You can do that. So that shyness that you felt when they were a spirit baby, it doesn't even show up in them when they're a kid, because you instilled in them, the nervous system, a mantra of confidence or self-esteem, or you got this type of vibe, right? Same thing goes with, spirit babies that are way too masculine. You can counterbalance it by you as the mother instilling in them, in utero and in the nervous system, femme consciousness to help, balance that out. or if they're too feminine. You can, again, vice versa, you can really instill a more masculine in the nervous system, right, to help balance that out. So there's all kinds of remedies we can do, right? If our spirit baby is very ET, right, very Zeta being, and they're not too sure about being in this human condition because of the fear and the propaganda fear and all the kinds of matrix and the lie, charlatans, you can put a protection in them. You can put a protection in the aura to help them feel safe. Thicken their aura through your own aura as the mother. And that will make them feel more, secure in being their Zeta alien vibration in a world that may not be so yet ready for that. So they don't feel so vulnerable or so exposed, because they have a thicker aura of protection. They have a mantra recitation that's been going in them since utero of protection, right? So they don't feel so anxious or feel so weird about, I'm a Zeta being in this human body trying to get out these Zeta teachings, and I'm or bringing this Zeta frequency to Earth, and I'm I don't feel safe, right? So I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna open up. I'm 6 years old. I'm not gonna share that gift because I don't feel safe. So all these little things we can do as a mother, and again, I go on and on and on about the different scenarios that you could be presented with, but it's all about you and your imagination, because these spirit babies that are coming in for a lot of women, especially if you listen to this, they are definitely intergalactic, interdimensional, from other planetary systems. But they do, even some of them want a particular setup. Some of them can even be demanding. They I will have this setup. I will have this part. I will be born to this man, this woman, right? Some of them will only be conceived if they're conceived with this man and this woman. Some of them, they have their own demands, right? They're a sovereign being. They can have their own demands. And they can help you choose a partner, right? Because your spirit baby wants you to have a partnership that brings you joy. Your spirit baby does not want to come in and you're a single mom and you're just really, really struggling because your partner is just nowhere to be found, or your partner is not treating you well. Your spirit baby, if you really pray and you listen to them, they will help you find the best partner for you, right? They will let you know, hey, this is not the partner. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes if we kind of, have a partner, and we can't even have children with a partner, let's say, it's not necessarily a part of our creative destiny, it's part of clearing karma. Sometimes that child will be a reflection of the clearing karma. That child will come in and will help to heal whatever karma was created that brought in this relationship with this person that maybe is not, could be abusive, not healthy, it's not what we want, not fulfilling. It's very maybe materialistic, full of lust, materialism, it brings the worst out of us, these type of things. That child it's a blessing. Right? Regardless if, we didn't want the child, or we didn't want the person, the spouse, or the boyfriend or the girlfriend or whatever, that child is a karma clearing. It came in to help clear the karma of both you and this person. The parent, both parents, either, because there's sometimes people have resentments. Some people, they can't stand their child's mother or father, or, past divorced partner. So that child can be a source of healing. And that child maybe in many ways came in and made an agreement, I would like, to part of my study in this life, or, a part of it, not the whole thing, is to, be... to have that experience so that I can learn what it is to heal from that, so that I can share this with other people, so that we can bring this continuity of sharing the remedy, the medicine on how to heal these human conditions that are very common, where, people are born into families that can't provide for kids. They're on the streets. The parents are in abusive relationships. So these kids can come in and they're like, it's a little daunting. They're like, I don't know if I want to do this. But those are brave souls. So if you've had these, abusive parents, you're out on the street, your parents couldn't provide for you, you're a very brave soul. It takes a very, very tough soul to come in, to want to heal and wanted to rehabilitate something that may be very, very off. To bring balance to something that's very, very off, it takes a lot of toughness to do that. Right, and a lot of times, I've probably had past lives. Everyone's probably had past lives where God assigned us into these kind of difficult family dynamics so that it could really trigger our awakening. Because sometimes we get, we can get very comfortable in incarnations. We get very comfortable in whatever type of evolution we've had or astrological movement that we've been doing for maybe centuries in different lifetimes, right? So sometimes in order to really liberate ourselves of these comforts so that we can really crack open our personal power we're brought into family dynamics where it's completely different to what we've had in our past life cycles, so that we could learn compassion and learn the fullness of human experience, which is not just privilege, born into privileged families, right? It's also about, let's say you're born in India and you're in a 1 mile is like, 3 million people and you just live with your grandparent because your mother and father are who knows where, right? There's that kind of situation. It's a tough soul, right? And the healing of that is it can be very, very heavy, right? Very hard, because it can be so dense, especially if you're in a very dense environment where you don't have a lot of high vibrational vortexes. That's why it's important to have sacred sites on this planet. Sacred sites on this planet everywhere, in all areas of this planet is absolutely important. Either it's temples, gardens, spaces of deep healing is absolutely important. No, I'm talking religious organization, like, indoctrinating the Bible into people. No, I'm talking about, again, it could be going to the synagogue, it can be going to the temple, it could go to church. But sacred sites of higher vibrational vortexes is very important. That's freely available, because that can actually completely save someone's life, especially who is in that kind of low, family karma, drama, and chaos. That can actually save a person's life and give them enough courage, just enough to actually have a breakthrough and bring healing to that whole situation, right? So I'm going to end this kind of discussion for this particular spirit baby and what is a spirit baby.